nominees for the delay. We're going to start with Mr. David Tipton, Grenada, Mississippi, been appointed to the Mississippi Business Finance Corporation, a term effective immediately ending June 1, 2024. Thank you, Brother Tipton, for being here. If you would, please introduce yourself to the committee and give us a little background.
Thank you, Senator Harkins. Thank you for the opportunity to address your committee and for the opportunity to be nominated for this position. I serve currently as the District Superintendent of the United Pentecostal Church. Our headquarters out near Hines Community College. I also am the Vice President of the National Apostolic Christian Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C., along with the other committees such as Tupelo Children's Mansion and New Beginnings Family Services, so several boards. So my home is in Grenada, Mississippi. I think my own senators on this committee, so it's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you for your willingness to serve. Look through your peer report. There's no derogatory information in your background report, which I would expect, by the way. And everything looks like it meets statutory requirements. So are there any questions of the committee?
Not that I can think of, Senator, Mr. Chairman.
Right, thank you, Brother Tipton. We're going to ask every nominee, is there anything in your background that hadn't come to light that if it did would embarrass the governor of the Senate for confirming your nomination?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no further questions for a motion. Motion is we do advise the consent on Senate nomination number 141. Mr. Tipton, all those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Tipton.
Thank you.
Tipton, we'll talk to you later. All right. Next is Senate nominee number 114, Ms. Pat Robertson. Is Pat with us? Okay, she's logging in. Give her 1 second. There she is. Pat, are you with us? All right, Pat, can you hear me? I think your mute is on.
It is. Sorry, can you hear me?
I got you. If you would, okay. Even though you're no stranger around here, just introduce yourself to the committee and give them a little background.
All right, I will. I'm Pat Robertson. Hello from Tuscany. I happen to be out of the country right now and glad to meet with you guys via Zoom, and I appreciate the consideration for my schedule. For those of you who don't know me, I was the executive director of PERS for 12 years and retired in June 2018. Prior to that, I started my career with PERS in 1980. So I've been around state government for a while. I live in Madison, am retired and just kind of doing the things that we do when we get retired, just trying to get in shape, exercise, and then traveling. And happy to answer any questions you may have. My background is I graduated from Mississippi State, Hail State, go Dogs, in 1975 with a BS in accounting. I am a CPA. Granted, of course, my certificate is retired right now because I'm not practicing. So that's my background. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. I think most of the committee knows you, and there's no derogatory information in your background. The one thing you will need to do when you get back to the 48 contiguous is fill out a statement of economic interest that you have not. You need to do that when you get back. Are there any questions of the committee? Senator Bryan.
Mr. Chairman, if I take this opportunity to say hello to Mrs. Robertson, can I get away with that even though it's not really a question?
Yes. All right. Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, for a motion. Motion is we do advise the consent on nomination of Ms. Pat Robertson. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Pat, for joining us. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you for the confirmation. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next is item Senate nomination number 92. Mr. David John Machado, excuse me, somebody give me the thumb, from Biloxi, Mississippi, for the Mississippi Business Finance Corporation, term effective immediately ending March 31st, 2027. Is Mr. Machado with us?
I am.
Thank you. Sorry for mispronouncing your last name, but if you would please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, the last name doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, so no problem. My name is David Machado. I am from Biloxi, born and raised there. I currently live in Gulfport. I own a architectural and engineering firm in Biloxi. We do a lot of educational work and do some work with Ingalls and some other clients like that. Graduated from Mississippi State University with a degree in civil engineering in 2000, and I went on to Tulane in 2008 and obtained my MBA from Tulane. Looking forward to serving in this capacity, and happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. There was no derogatory information in the peer report, and your appointment complies with state law. Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing no questions, for a motion. Motion is we do advise the consent on Senate nomination number 92. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Machado. Appreciate it.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Next, we're going to skip down to Senate nomination number 140, Ms. Jeannie Simmons, from Lake Mississippi, for the Mississippi Business Finance Corporation. She has carpool in a second, so we'll try to go ahead and get her on here. Jeannie, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good to see you. If you would please introduce yourself to the committee and tell us a little about yourself.
Okay. I'm Jenny Simmons. I live in Lake, Mississippi. I own Simmons Erosion Control, Inc. We are a highway construction firm. We work in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Tennessee. We employ 120 people approximately in all areas of the state. I serve on the board of directors for the Associated Builders and Contractors of Mississippi, where I serve as their investment chair. I also serve as a member of the Junior League of Jackson, where I'm a past chair of the Touch a Truck of Jackson event and currently serve as their internal communications chair. I graduated with my bachelor's from Mississippi State University in business and communication.
All right. Thank you very much. Your appointment complies with law, and there was no derogatory information in your background. Are there any questions of the committee? Seeing none, for a motion. All right, the motions, we do advise of consent on Senate nomination number 140, Ms. Simmons. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Jeannie, for being here.
Thank you for the confirmation.
Thank you. All right, next we will go to Senate nomination number 125. Greg Havard, excuse me, Lucedale, Mississippi, for the Hospital Equipment and Facilities Authority. Mr. Havard here with us today? Mr. Havard with us? He's not? Okay. Look through the folder real quick, Mr. Havard. All right, the appointment does comply with state law, and there was no derogatory information in Mr. Havard's background. Are there any questions from the committee? You want to do it on? Okay, we're going to do this in block with 125 and 126. It's the same appointment. So are there any questions of the committee? Seeing none, for a motion. Motion is we do advise and consent on Senate nomination number 125 and 126. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we'll go to Chris Sanders from Holly Springs, Mississippi Hospital Equipment and Facilities Authority.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Good, good. My name is Chris Sanders. I'm from address says Holly Springs, but I live in Mount Pleasant, Mississippi, which is in Marshall County. I'm the Chief Financial Officer and Vice President of Operations at Methodist Olive Branch Hospital in Olive Branch, Mississippi. We're part of the Methodist LeBonner Healthcare System, which obviously is based in Tennessee. Been with Methodist for this year, be 15 years. Been in healthcare, mostly in healthcare finance for going on 22 years. Born and raised in Amory, Mississippi. Went to Ole Miss undergrad. I guess I'm the only one nominated today that went to Ole Miss, so that's a shock. Master's degree in health administration from the University of Memphis, and so glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll take any questions you have.
All right. The only thing that I think we discussed this earlier, the only problem Pierre had was on your voter registration. We do have that proof of your registration voter, so you are a qualified electorate. And I believe that does take care of that, the only issue that was outstanding. So are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none for a motion. All right, the motion is we do advise and consent on Mr. Chris Sanders. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you for being here.
All right.
Next, Senate nomination number 135, Mr. Merle Glenn Flowers of South Haven.
Good afternoon.
Is Mr. Flowers available on, okay, he's got Wi-Fi where he is. Thank you for being with us. Would you please introduce yourself to some of the committee members that don't know you?
Thank you, Chairman Harkins. I also appreciate Lieutenant Governor Hoseman and yourself and the committee for allowing me to be nominated and come before this board. I want to thank Treasurer David McCray for placing me in this nomination queue. I want to appreciate all the work that y'all have done this particular session, and to give a shout out to Senator Blackwell and Senator Parker, Senator McClendon from DeSoto County. I really appreciate everything they're doing for us and for giving their time and energy and effort to serve our community. And in the 10 years since I've seen y'all, I've been chasing youngins quite a bit. I was a scoutmaster for 5 or 6 years, had 19 boys get Eagle Scout. And Chris Sanders, whom you just had on, is the CFO over there. I've been chairman of the hospital board for 4 years. I agreed to a 1-year term, and look at me now, I'm in year 4. I agreed to a 3-year term, and I'm in year 10 serving. So anyway, it's something very positive. The legislature was very helpful in my time there to help us achieve to acquire another hospital up here. We're bursting at the seams. And then, as you know, Chairman Harkins, I've been in the real estate industry for over 25 years with my small business here. So I appreciate the opportunity to be considered. This is a wonderful opportunity to serve the greater good of Mississippi. I believe Buddy Mitchum runs a real tight ship at the Business Development Bank and the Business Finance Corporation. They do wonderful things in lots of communities for local municipalities, counties, roads, economic development projects. They've pretty much touched every place in the state of Mississippi since 1985, and I look forward to some great things to come.
Well, thank you. You are appointed to the Mississippi Business Finance Corporation, and your appointment complies with applicable law. Pierre located no derogatory information on you, but we did have an anonymous letter as a character reference, and they have mailed it to the entire committee. And I feel like I've got to at least let her speak as a reference to your character. Ms. Flowers, would you like to come up and, oh, she's pleading the fifth, never mind. Are there any questions on the Senator Parker?
I just want to take this opportunity. Senator Flowers was my predecessor, and when I was considering running, I gave him a call and he encouraged me. He's been a good friend. He's been a good mentor over many years. And in spite of the text I sent him when he told me he was being nominated, where a few of them maybe had a red flag or something on the text comment, he is a great servant. He's one person from DeSoto County I know who will take the time to come down here and fulfill his obligations on this board at the proper time. I'd love to make a motion.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none for motion, Senator Parker.
Move we do advise and consent.
All right, motion is we do advise and consent on the nomination of Mr. Merle Flowers for the Mississippi Business Finance Corp. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Flowers. Appreciate your service.
Oh, thank you both.
All right, next is Mr. Joe Cloyd from Ocean Springs for Mississippi Business Finance Corporation. We're going to take Senate nomination number 157 and 158 up in block. Thank you, Joe, for being here. you press that little green button, you may be able to push. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm hot now.
All right, if you would please introduce yourself and
Something I've never been accused of. Chairman, thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to be here. My name is Joe Cloyd. I live in Ocean Springs. I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Jessica, over here. I'm in the real estate development space, primarily in senior housing and hospitality. I'm looking forward to learning a lot more about what these two entities do. They do great work for our communities, schools. I'm the president of Ocean Springs School Board as well, and so do have a heart for public service and look forward to continuing it in this fashion if confirmed. And thank you all for the opportunity to be here.
thank you, Joe, for being here. Your nomination, your appointment does comply with all state law, and there was no derogatory information in your background. I appreciate your willingness to serve, and thank you for coming all the way up here at the last minute. Are there any questions from anyone? Anybody in the back want to have a character reference moment? She says no. Okay. Jeremy?
Mr. Chairman, this may be more of a point of order, but I don't know who's falling asleep over at Pier, but this non-derogatory report, sometimes they come up and I don't know if they're doing the research or not. I mean, I know they're busy, but geez, Joe Cloyd.
Hey, I'm just glad they did it last minute. I'm sure they were rushed.
I'm just kidding. Would just say on Joe's behalf, he's a great guy, and I fully support his nomination here, and glad he's up here. Thank you, Joe.
All right, for a motion, Senator.
I move that we do advise and consent.
All right, motions, we do advise the consent on Senate nomination number 157 and 158. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, we got one more. Senate nomination number 115. It was Miss Pat Robertson. There was two of them. We didn't take them up in blocks. So you've already heard the motion is we do advise the consent on Senate nomination number 115. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Motion to rise and report.